Hello and welcome. You're watching the Times of India. I'm Nalin Mehta. Verdict 2017 is going to have huge national political implications both for the BJP, for Prime Minister Narendra Modi and for the opposition Congress party. With me here is Sanjeev Singh, and what we're going to talk about right now is the exit polls and what they are predicting or what we're likely to be seeing. Sanjeev, this is the poll of polls for UP, which is the mother of all battles, the semi-final before 2019 as some have dubbed it. What do these numbers, bringing together the overall polls done by various agencies, what do they tell you?
Well, numbers are pretty clear. They're giving an edge to the BJP, with the SP Congress coming second and BSP third. But see, there is a lot of, the sort of range is quite high between starting right from 161, which India TVC voter is given, all the way to 285.
Yeah.
So that's a huge difference of almost 120 seats, of which way the swing is going. Similarly, if you look at the Samajwadi Party from 88 to 163, that's almost double the seats, and 35 to 90. So in that sense, it's a pretty tough election to actually get right, simply because there was no overarching theme in the election, right, in which it was easy to decide whether you're this way or that way.
What's clear, Sanjeev, is that it's advantage BJP, as if you look at the poll of polls and the average of these numbers, then it's coming to about 217 or 210 plus for BJP. SP Congress is a clear second across board. What everybody agrees on is that BSP is a poor third. That's the only thing everybody agrees on. But the real differential is in the numbers for BJP. From the low end of 161, which is a hung house, halfway mark is about 200 plus, to 265 or 285 really for today's Janata.
Yeah, so the difference of 120 seats is almost the number of seats which SP Congress is going to get. Personally, I think that the BSP has been highly underrated in coming third, because most of the people we spoke to who have been traveling, especially in the last 3-4 phases of the UP elections, they said that the BSP is actually putting up a good show. So maybe
but if the sort of mean of these exit polls holds out, then we are looking at a clear advantage for BJP. The Prime Minister has fronted the campaign. He's been the front end, the spear's edge of the BJP the last 3 days, in particular in Varanasi. So he will get all the credit for it.
Yeah. So if we go by these exit polls, one thing is clear, that is that BJP will be the single largest if they do not form the government, and that itself is a sort of it's basically a reiteration of brand Modi.
Right. So the point I want to make here, Sanjeev, is that while BJP is likely to be single largest now, what exact numbers we don't know, and we see what happens in the poll, whether these numbers hold up or not. What's clear is that if the BJP does indeed become the single largest party and gets around 30% of the vote, that's going to be it's going to be what it had in 93-96. The last time it was a major player in UP. It's not hit double digits in the vote share, or not gone over 20% in the vote share since the early 2000s.
Yeah, and there's an interesting comment by Lalita Ravi Shankar. She says, "Why are we discussing predictions? Let's discuss tomorrow after results. Predictions may differ sometimes and fail too." Yes, Lalita, you're right. A lot of times predictions do fail, but this is a sort of, we're trying to get a sense of what could be in store tomorrow. Because for people who are really into elections and who want to see which party is doing well, they have a tendency of not being able to wait for that much. So we're just trying to give a sort of indication of what to expect. So if this is true, it is a good sign for BJP, because they look at the backdrop. You've just had local body elections in Maharashtra. You had local body elections in Odisha, and at both places BJP has done really well. And those were the first big local body elections after the move to demonetize.
And this is the first big state assembly election after demonetization.
So in that sense, it gives BJP a handle to say that despite whatever the opposition is saying, the people have solidly backed Narendra Modi's decision on demonetization.
What if these numbers hold out? What does that tell you with the Congress-SP alliance? That did Akhilesh Yadav miss a trick? And what does that tell you about Rahul Gandhi? Will it increase pressure on him that brand Rahul is not working if these numbers hold out?
Well, if these numbers do come true, it could actually mean that if you leave aside Bihar, Congress is actually a party that has pulled down all their allies. Take the case of Tamil Nadu, where they tied up with the DMK. So,
or West Bengal with the left.
Or West Bengal with the left, where they gained at the expense of the left parties.
Yeah.
But there is a general feeling within the Samajwadi Party leaders as well that there was no need for Akhilesh Yadav to give 105 seats to.
That was way too much.
Yeah.
The Congress didn't have that many candidates that were winning candidates. So there was just no way they had that many candidates. But a party which had 28 seats last time.
Yeah, 40 to 50 at the max. Even if they had gone by simple.
Do you think that was the first sign of weakness by Akhilesh Yadav after coming out of this huge battle internally within his family?
I guess at that point Akhilesh Yadav didn't have many options. He was a man who had to move at double the speed of others.
Yeah.
So once he got control over the party, he wanted to send that message out loud and clear to the minorities and to his supporters that he also has another party on board, and together, if you look at the numbers, percentage numbers, that would have been a big.
So Sanjeev, let's should we switch to the next state and see what the other states are doing, or do you have a comment there?
Vishal Jain has an interesting question.
Yeah.
Do you think Maya will support SP in case of a hung assembly?
Yes, that's an important question, especially because Akhilesh Yadav has said yesterday in an interview to the BBC where he said that he gave a very cryptic statement that whatever is likely to, which has to be done to avoid the BJP coming to power, is willing to do that. So
yeah, so that is interesting because the new team of Akhilesh Yadav, they have this sense of feeling that Akhilesh is not Mulayam Singh Yadav, and hence the antipathy towards Mayawati may not be the same of what Mulayam had, and this is Samajwadi Party 2.0. So, and who is the common enemy? So they're looking at BJP as the common enemy, and if there is a scenario where there is a hung assembly, then at this point of time, given the indications that Akhilesh is giving, we cannot rule out a scenario something like what we saw in Bihar, where both Lalu and Nitish had come together.
Right.
There is also this.
You think Mayawati will go along? You think Mayawati will actually go along, and if she gets decimated like this? And tie up with Akhilesh? They have a real history of animosity between SP and Congress, SP and BSP ever since the attack on the guest house on 1995, as you well know.
Yeah, so as a rider, when you do exit polls, it's based on what feedback you get. Mayawati supporters are the silent supporters.
Yeah.
So, this number could very well change.
Yeah, sure.
Assuming that this is true, then it is a battle of survival for Mayawati. She has to do something to be in power and tell her voters that she still holds the key to.
So she may have nothing to lose. She to reinvent.
So then she'll have to take a choice between either supporting either party.
Right.
There was this interesting question from Nitin says that check the 2015 Bihar election exit poll and how others got it wrong. Jyotindra Kulkarni says, don't you think Yadav support goes with SP? Even though Modi is a front face for development. Well, at least as far as UP is concerned, we know that the entire Yadav community was solidly behind Akhilesh Yadav this time, because they know that he was also fighting for his survival, and he may be a leader for the future, but at this point of time, if there is any one community that strongly backed Akhilesh, that is the Yadav community.
So Sanjeev, there are other comments coming in that has the pre-poll alliance Umang Jain says with Congress, has it dented Congress more, or has it dented the SP?
What is dented more?
Who is it sort of negatively impacted more?
The alliance.
Yeah, the Congress or the SP?
Obviously, I think the Samajwadi Party has more to lose simply because they had more numbers, they had better percentage voting. Congress only had 6% share of votes, so and they were given 100 seats. So at the end of the day, if Congress ends up with almost 20 to 30 seats, which they had originally, so they will be at the same position. But for the Samajwadi Party, who is at 224, this will be a fall from grace.
So Harinder Pratap Singh asks, is BJP gaining by demonetization? It seems pretty clear that demonetization was not an electoral issue in UP, in the sense that we traveled a number of places. So a lot of people were not happy with it. A lot of people questioned it. Some were happy with it. But politically, I think they were saying that this is not what they're voting on. So
So it wasn't an overriding issue that people were talking about. Akash Negi says Akhilesh will come tomorrow and will become Chief Minister of UP.
Right.
Varun Bajpai says if SP Congress alliance with BSP, how long will three minds take to burst? and will the state government fall? Manas Tandon says, I doubt that the Yadav community has backed SP to the extent as they did in 2012. Divyanshu Gupta says, will BJP be getting full majority? Full majority, we can't say at this point of time, but definitely they will be the single largest. But we are getting.
I want to add a point here that one of the reasons why UP has confounded pollsters so much and why there is such a big differential between the different polls is partly because in a three-cornered contest, which is what it is this time, the SP Congress on one side, the BJP on one side. The BJP for the last 2-3 elections has not really been a factor in UP, and BSP on the third side. Very small voter shifts can have a huge impact on seat shares. So for example, last time in 2012 there were about 72 odd seats which were won by a margin of less than 2%, in the assembly of 403 seats. Out of those 72 plus seats, 54 were won by Samajwadi Party. Now that is the difference between having a full majority and leading in a hung house with 170, 180 seats. Samajwadi Party, which had about 224 seats last time, 54 of its seats were won by less than 2% margin. No pollster can predict how those seats will
swing,
because that's within the margin of error, and that's why a lot of pollsters are getting confounded also in UP this time.
Nalin, there's a question for you. Neil is asking, whom do you think Mayawati will go with?
That's an interesting question. It depends on the number of seats she gets. If she gets under 80, in my view, 80 is the figure which she had last time in 2012.
98.
98, right. My sense is that if she gets under the 80 figure this time, it could have meant that the Dalit Muslim alliance has not worked. The Muslims didn't come to Mayawati. If that is a figure. Then she could well throw caution to the wind and say, okay, what's the harm in aligning with the BJP? The BJP, after all, is in power in the center. Mayawati would be desperate. This would be a third big straight defeat. 2012, 2014, she got wiped out. The BJP was only leading in 7 segments in 2014.
Plus, if the Muslim vote didn't come to her,
there's no reason
for
her to then quote that vote again. So then she might cut her losses and align with the BJP. But if she gets a higher proportion, if she comes a third with 100 plus odd seats, and some of the Muslim voters come to her, it depends on the number of seats. Then she might feel strong enough to wait it out and even if President's rule comes along. So it really depends on how bad the success or failure of Mayawati is.
Sarita Sharma has a question, who do you think will win UP elections? And Prakhar Singh says, who leads in the first phase of polls if Jats got divided? How come BJP is getting a majority? See, Prakhar, as far as the Jat vote being divided is concerned, remember that in the first 2 phases, the percentage of Muslims is higher. In UP the percentage is about 18, but in Western UP in phase 1 and 2, the percentage goes up to almost 30%. So the Muslim vote becomes important. If the Jats have not voted for BJP and gone with Chaudhry Ajit Singh's Rashtriya Lok Dal, as people are saying, in the same breath we have to say that even the Muslim vote was not sure which way to go, because at that point of time maybe their first preference was the Samajwadi Party, and then if the candidate was not good enough,
and also in the Jat vote matters in those constituencies in Western UP. It's not it's not significant numerically as we move eastward and towards Central UP. I think Sanjeev, let's move on to other states now. Very quickly and
Akash Negi said, boss, please show polls of Uttarakhand.
So we just pulled up Uttarakhand in response to Akash Negi. The poll of polls this is the only really decisive number when you look at the poll of polls, which is showing a clear trend in all the polls of where the BJP is leading, with the exception of India News MRC poll, which is showing Congress leading. Otherwise, every single poll is showing a clear victory for BJP in Uttarakhand.
Yeah, in fact, if we go by these exit polls and the sort of reports that we were getting from the ground, before the election started in Uttarakhand, it was supposed to be a cakewalk for the BJP. But you saw, the turn. Basically, this is an election of turncoats. You saw so many Congress candidates moving to the BJP and BJP candidates coming to Congress. Then what Harish Rawat did was that because he was the most influential person in deciding who the tickets will be given to, a lot of people actually went into the BJP fold. And what the other thing that did not go down well with Congress leaders was that he asked the MLAs of smaller parties to come and join the Congress as official candidates. So that could be a major reason why BJP has a clear edge in this.
So should we quickly move on and finish go through all our states? Punjab, 117 seats. It's a dead heat. There's very little to call between the Congress and AAP. What is clear is that every pollster in Punjab agrees that the sad BJP alliance is being swept away in a landslide. Congress and AAP, very little to choose. It's all within the margin of error except for the India TVC voter poll. All of them are saying, some are saying Congress, some are saying AAP, but it's too close to call.
Yeah, so this is reflective of the fact that the exit polls are based on this issue that AAP has done well in the Malwa region.
Yeah.
While the Congress seems to have done well in other regions as well, which is why a fractured mandate is coming. A few months before the elections, it looked like it will be a clean sweep for Aam Aadmi Party because the voter in Punjab was wanting change, and maybe AAP reflected that change. But towards the end, it seems that the Congress got its act together.
With Amrinder Singh fighting his last election, he says it's also his 75th birthday on the day of counting. So let's see if he can have his cake and eat it too.
Nalin, one more. The Chitrabhanu is saying that if BJP wins 4 to 5 states, do you feel BJP will get an upper hand in the Rajya Sabha?
Right. So the Rajya Sabha question is a good one. This year, there are 10 Rajya Sabha seats which are up for renewal. None of them are from these states which have gone to elections. So this year it will make no difference. 2017. In fact, the states which are coming up, the seats which are getting emptied up this year are from West Bengal and a couple of other places, which will reflect the last elections.
Okay.
But next year, in 2018, there are 60 Rajya Sabha seats which are going to come up for renewal, and there 10 are from UP.
Oh.
So next year it will make a difference. Who wins UP and who wins these states? It will have some impact next year.
Chitrabhanu also has one more question for you. Will AAP in Punjab split the anti-Akali vote that would have gone to the Congress?
The anti-Akali vote which would have gone to the Congress, yes, but I think AAP is doing.
So in that case, then could the Akalis get the edge because of the
No, but I think what's happening is that AAP, from what we are seeing, all the evidence that's showing so far is that AAP is cutting as much into the Akali rural base as it is into the traditional Congress voter. Like in Delhi, AAP won by taking over the Congress vote. I think what's happening in Punjab is that it's getting in rural areas a lot of the Akali vote as well. The youth are really voting for change, and there is a clear generational divide happening in Punjab. Moving on, let's move to Goa. Goa, Sanjeev.
Yeah, very little to choose. I mean, if BJP actually manages to retain the number of seats they have, or even be single largest, one should give credit to BJP for getting their act together, because Congress was a divided house, even though managed to pull together right in the end. AAP seems to have faltered, though they had a good campaign going, but I think in the end it's all about managing the election in the last 2 days. I think that's where AAP still needs to learn.
Do you think Manohar Parrikar will go back to Goa as Chief Minister if BJP wins?
They are very mixed signals, because sitting Chief Minister Parrikar has already said there is no need for Manohar Parrikar to come back. So looks unlikely that he'll go. I mean, only if it was a clear verdict, maybe he could have gone.
He said he likes that he really likes Goan fish curry, and he misses it.
He can always have it at Goa Bhavan.
Well, we'll wait and see, because Goa is an interesting election because of AAP's inroad, which don't seem to have worked in Goa, but also about the leadership question in BJP, if the BJP does indeed cross the Rubicon in Goa. And then, of course, there's Manipur. The first time in it's part of the BJP's big northeast push. First Assam, which they won in a straight electoral contest, then Arunachal after defections, and now they seem to be making inroads into Manipur.
Yeah, they're basically,
at least by one poll.
They're basically riding the unrest of the Nagas in Manipur. Congress has been in power for almost 3 terms now.
Yeah.
And what basically happened was that the divide between the Manipuris versus the Nagas, and a few more districts were created which did not go well with the Nagas. So Congress is banking on the Methi vote, which is dominant in almost 40 of the 60 seats, and Congress is backing the Nagas. So we'll have to wait and see, but it looks likely. I would go with the India Today Access figures, to be more precise, simply because I think BJP will make inroads, but not enough to dislodge Congress.
Right. Well, on that note, I think we'll have to leave it there, and we will be looking at the counting and the trends as they come in to see what really happens in verdict 2017, because it will have huge implications for the Prime Minister, for his politics, and for the power play between the BJP and the Congress at the national level. Thanks so much, Sanjeev Singh. Keep watching the Times of India for live updates.